Hi, everybody. Hi, friends and family, and strangers who are just not friends yet, who happen to maybe stumble on this channel looking for somebody with a similar experience. And I hope that me telling my story can help you in some way. My name is Kristen Roberts, formerly Senyard is my maiden name. And for all my family and friends, I told a lot of you I would keep you up to date. And I really do want to do one of those sites where you have to write, because it seemed like it might be homework if I don't feel well. So I opted with talking, because that, as you know, comes easiest to me. And even when I'm very tired, I could still muster to talk a whole bunch and tell you what's going on. So that's what I'm opting for, and I'm gonna figure out how to do it. I'm sure I should be using a filter, and I'm sure there should be edits, so bear with me. It's not gonna be professional, but I'm trying to fill you in and keep you up to date. I love that y'all love me enough and care enough to want to keep up with what's going on and to pray for me and to be concerned, and I love you all for it. So for those who don't know, I will start at the beginning. It's bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre, and this is gonna seem like a joke, a bad joke, but it's gonna seem like I'm making this up. But my dad in May, the end of May, was diagnosed with breast cancer, and he likes to call it peck cancer. Rightly so. He doesn't have breasts; he has pecs. And, you know, I've heard anywhere between 1% and 4% of men have. We have no family history of breast cancer. None. I don't know a single woman or man in my family who has breast cancer. So my dad gets breast cancer. So that's odd. But you're like, okay. I went down there the beginning of June to be there with him for his double mastectomy, because he's like, I don't need them. Take them off. During that, they found that it was in fact in his lymph nodes, so they took out a whole bunch. They took out about 12, and 9 out of the 12 did have cancer in them. And in fact, during the pathology, they found out that there was cancer on the outside of them, which was very alarming. So then he had to do a PET scan to see if it had gone anywhere else in his body and therefore metastasized. So praise God, we recently found out, like yesterday, that it has not gone anywhere else. There's a few like wonky lymph nodes left, and I think they're just going to treat it with chemo and radiation and leave that alone. Sorry for my voice. On top of all of this, I have some kind of respiratory thing. Not COVID, although that is the least of my worries right now. But anyway, so that was just amazing, because I broke down crying when he told me. I was so nervous that I was going to throw up when he called, because it just, the life expectancy if you're stage 4 goes down dramatically. You know, everybody talks about breast cancer, it's so curable, but you never see a breakdown by stage. And so yeah, stage 0, 1, and 2 are extremely treatable, and the survival rates are fantastic. Stage 3 and 4 less so. Stage 4 very much less so. Like, it goes down to like 25% in 5 years are alive. So I was trying to just have faith and not worry, but I'd be lying if I said I was not, thinking about it constantly. So it is such a sigh of relief. He's still got to go through a lot, but at least I know he's the chances, his odds are just so much better, even though he could have beat the odds, even if it was stage 4. But, it's my dad. I was like, I can't picture a world where my mom and dad aren't in it. I need them. And I'm sure everybody feels that way, but mine are special. While this is all going on, and I'm going down there to Texas, I'm in Maryland. For those of you who don't know, my parents are in Texas. They just retired back there, although not really retired. My dad is always going to work probably, but which is really inconvenient for the whole cancer thing and me wanting to be next to them. I was like, really? Could you have gone further away? So while this is happening, and my uncles may want to skip forward, like give me like 2 minutes and then come back in, because I'm going to give the details of the signs, like the symptoms that I had, so that anybody listening, plus people should know, because if they hear about it, they can tell others. So a little bit before I went down there, I think I noticed I normally wear dark colored bras, and so, and you don't check your bra for anything. That'd be weird, I guess, if you did. I don't know. Maybe people do. Maybe I'm just weird. So, but when it came summertime, I had like a lighter outfit. I wore a light bra, like a nude bra, and I picked it up, and it had a like a red circle in it, and like blood, obviously blood, but like in a circle. And I was like, well, that's weird. So, I'm like flipping it around trying to see which boob, and I'm checking to see if I've got a cut or anything like that. I'm thinking of like obvious things. I looked, I didn't see anything. I thought, well, that's weird, maybe it's a fluke. I continue on, and every time I take my bra off, there's more red circles, more blood stains. So I thought, well, that's not normal, that's not okay. So a little bit of me starts panicking, and I eventually see that it's actually happening. And even when I was in Texas there for my dad, I see like basically blood's coming out of my nipple, and not like a bleeding nipple, like blood is coming out of my breast, like I'm and not in copious amounts, but and enough that I started putting a tissue in my bra. Start Googling. I need answers, I need information to feel better, so I Google it. And if you say blood's coming out of there, there's only a couple of things it can be. There's a few, but I didn't have the symptoms of the other ones, so I figured, okay. It said, it doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it is almost always this interductal papilloma. And it's benign, and they just remove it to stop the symptoms. It's like a little benign tumor stuck in your milk duct. They cut it out, boom, Bob's your uncle. I actually have an Uncle Bob. Hey, Uncle Bob. So this is what I was like, okay, I'll take that. And I know that's not how it works, but in my mind, I've diagnosed myself, and even everywhere I went, and I say I Googled it, but let's be clear. I Googled it, but I Googled, I looked at like the American Cancer Society, Susan G. Komen, NIH, and they have all these different examples and all these test subjects and, science papers, and, all of them were papillomas for the most part. And at the end of them, it would be like, and rarely cancer. I was like, okay, well, if you're going to say it like that, rarely cancer. Okay, apparently you can have different things coming out of your breast, and usually it's like an endocrine thing, but it's never blood. If it's blood or clear, it's more alarming. It's usually this papilloma. If it's clear, it's usually cancer. So I'm like, okay, I've got a shot, I've got a chance that is this papilloma. So I have a gynecologist like annual thing coming up, although not annual, it's every 5 years now. And I went, although the office was like, we still want you to come every year. And I'm like, of course you do. Like, but I'm not coming every 5 years. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants to come. Okay, stop pushing it. So 5 years. So I'm going to my gynecologist for a checkup. So I'm like, I'm just going to get them to do, because they always do a breast exam, for those of you who don't know. They do a breast exam while you're there. And so I figured I'm going to go to that. It was like a week away. So I do that. I get there. She has zero personality, by the way. I, of course, am cracking jokes. It's awkward. The place is always awkward. And the lock on the door where you have to pee in a cup didn't work. So, like, and it was like a madhouse there with a ton of people. So, like, 3 women walked down while I'm trying to pee in a cup, and I've got my pants down, and it was just horrible. And then the nurse came in, and I don't have my gown on, and I'm like, why doesn't everybody come in? We'll just all, like, do some kind of, like, town exam. I don't know. Like, it's just a group thing. Everybody's seen it by now. Why even put on a robe? Anyway, she wasn't laughing at any of this either, and I'm making jokes, and I'm telling her what's happening. And she says, well, I feel a mass. And I was like, a mass? That sounds big. Like, you mean like a bump, a lump? I felt nothing. So when she said that, I was like, oh, okay, concerning. And I asked her, have you ever seen this before? And she goes, no, not at all. I'm like, you want them to say, she was kind of young. I felt like I should have been like, can you bring me somebody with gray hair? Bring them back in here. Let's ask that question again, because I thought you would say, yeah, all the time. And it's normally benign, no worries. Or at least, hey, we'll see, we'll check it out. No, that's not what happened. And then I asked her, well, if you were me, how worried would you be? Because she was telling me to go see a breast surgeon after I get these tests that she's going to order. And she goes, I don't know. Useless, absolutely useless. Anyway, I digress. She ordered the tests I needed. So I'm off to get a mammogram and an ultrasound. diagnostic mammogram, which apparently just means they'll take more pictures if they need them. There's like nothing special to it, other than they know they're looking for something. So that's the main difference. So, you know, I do the mammogram. They ask for more pictures. I do the ultrasound. Lady leaves me. I'm always trying to like look. I've been studying pictures by now. I've been like, you know, elbow deep in breast research. Between my dad and myself, I could write a thesis paper on different breast diseases and the anatomy of the breast, which I swear school was just boob, nipple. I feel like we weren't told about all the intricacies of the human breast. So anyway, I don't know that I'm disadvantaged because I didn't know. I'm just saying it was shocking. Some of the images I was like, ugh, just looked weird. Sent those to Ava because that was fun. So anyway, so the radiologist comes in. He says he doesn't see a lump. He sees like multiple dilated ducts. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's not good either. You know, and he's like, and they look like they're filled with stuff, blood. And I was like, okay. I said, well, what do you, I know they're not supposed to tell you anything, but I get it out of them. I try to weasel them into their opinion. And I'm like, I'll sign a waiver, whatever. You know, I said, well, what do you think it is? And he goes, well, it could be papilloma. I go, because I was, you know, and I'm like, papilloma? He's like, yeah, it could be. He was like, but I don't think so. And I'm like, it's just not sticking. And so he said it could also be DCIS, which I have learned is ductal carcinoma in situ. I thought it was in situ, but it's not. Like, I thought like maybe it's short for like situation. I don't know. I was trying to be hip, like suss out something. Anyway, but then I heard a doctor on a video, like a YouTube video, telling us that it's in situ, and it means in place, which means that the tumor has not left the milk duct, which is like stage 0 cancer, breast cancer, and it's like 100% treatable. They just cut it out. It has no ability to invade because it's been contained. So, you know, he mentions that, and I'm thinking, okay, worst case scenario is that, and I'll take it. That's fine. That seems solvable. Sure, let's have that one.